This podcast is brought to you in part by P&P Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at one of their 3 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Alrighty, everybody, and welcome to the Nintendo Pulse podcast. This is episode number 64. We're recording this on Thursday, October 17th, 2013. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison. And joining me, as always, Stephen Munn. Stephen, how the heck are you, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks.
Good. We didn't.
How about
you? Good. I'm doing good. We didn't do a show last week, so we haven't talked in a while. So
yeah.
It's good to hear your voice, Stephen.
Oh, thanks. It's good to hear yours too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is the VG Podcast Love-In episode of the Nintendo Pulse podcast.
It is.
All right. Well, so what's new, man? It's been a couple weeks. What you been up to?
Oh, I've been watching a ridiculous amount of Doctor Who. I got a pet rabbit.
Yeah, I've been seeing your all your posts on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Cute little rabbit.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's right now she's eating a like a little hut made out of willow branches, just chewing away at it back right there. You can see the black cage back there against the wall.
Nice. So how is it owning a small animal like a rabbit?
It's cool. I mean, she's got a great disposition, and I take her out. I brought her to the pet store with us today when I went to pick up some more litter for her, and it's great. It's she's friendly. She doesn't really like being picked up. I guess most rabbits are that way. They're kind of used to being on the ground all the time.
How old is she?
The vet said that he expects that she is probably under a year, which means she'll probably get a little bit bigger.
Interesting.
Than she already is. A little over 5 pounds now. So.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's
cool. Well, congratulations on the new addition to your family.
Thanks. How about you? What have you been up to?
Work, and work. It's been an absolutely insane time, both at my day job and other things that are going on. It's been really busy, so it's good. Normally my day consists of me staying up till like midnight and then going to bed for a few hours and then getting up for work. I've been like crashing so early, like probably for, I would say 5 days out of the last 2 weeks, I've gone to bed at 8:00, which is way earlier than I normally do, which means that all my game time is being taken up by, my body recuperating, stupid body wanting to recuperate, waste all my gaming time.
When do we get to just plug into the consoles and not have to sleep anymore? Can game in our sleep or something?
I hope someone figures out a way to get rid of sleep. I mean, that's such an unproductive time. Just think of all the more video games you could beat in your life if you didn't have to sleep.
That's a really great thought.
Who cares about curing cancer, feeding the poor? Think of all the video games you could play, man.
Oh, come on. We're doing all this stuff at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I multitask.
Right. It's not like the multiplayer of, so we don't want multiplayer. It just takes away from the single player part of life.
No. I'm folding enzymes and proteins while I'm playing video games. So, I'm dual tasking.
Cool.
So it's all good. It's all good.
Next generation is going to be even more amazing. You have time travel, 4th dimension gaming.
It'll be awesome. I can't wait.
Nintendo 4DS.
So much I can do. I can go back in time to beat all the old games I didn't beat.
Right.
It's going to be good. All right, well, let's get into the show. Before we get into the meat of the show, just wanted to mention that I am joining Extra Life this year. If you're not familiar with Extra Life, it is a day of video gaming for charity. So if you go to extralife.org, you can read up all about it. You can search for myself or follow the link in the show notes. I'm going to be on Team Disney Infinity, Team Inside Infinity, which we're going to be doing a 25-hour Disney Infinity podcast / live stream / marathon. It's going to be absolutely insane. There's going to be 4 of us so far. We're going to have interviews with the developers. We're going to be doing gameplay with the developers. We're going to be gaming with the fans, gaming with the community. It's going to be absolutely insane. We have some more news coming in the future about some prizes and some special guests and a really special thing that a large corporation is going to be doing for us as well. It's going to be awesome. So if you'd like to support my gaming for 25 hours, probably killing myself, you can do that over at the link that I'll be posting, which will take you over to my Extra Life page. I'm not trying to be too crazy here, just trying to raise $100 for charity. Of course, more would be better, obviously, and it's going to be fun. Just think of watching me kill myself for 25 hours playing Disney Infinity, which is a game that doesn't have 25 hours of content. So it should be interesting to see how we fill the time. Should be fun. So links will be in the show notes.
Half of a Dragon Quest game.
I think I'm just going to erase my save game and start from fresh.
Wow.
No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm gonna restart all the play sets, and we're going to do custom level building and playing community levels and playing with the community. It should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. It should be a really, really good time. I hope.
Cool.
I hope. All right, well, let's get into the meat of the show. Steven, what have you been playing?
Still logging into Animal Crossing New Leaf every day and looking for Gracie. She still has not appeared a second time after, coming the first time.
Seriously, you have not seen her yet again.
She has not, exactly.
Isn't she supposed to come once a week? Isn't that what her
I don't know.
Her time frame is? It's at least once every 7 days or something.
I haven't seen anything on the wikis or whatever claiming a specific time frame. Just that it takes about a month from the TIY upgrade before you get the opportunity to upgrade to the department store,
right,
which has Gracie in it, and you have to pass 4 of her checks.
Yep.
And she's only shown up in my town once, and she wanted an outfit that I didn't have, pieces for. Even in my catalog, I didn't have pieces for it.
Interesting.
So I couldn't pass that.
In getting Gracie, or trying to complete one of her requests, I figured out how the whole ordering system works. I didn't realize. I just thought it was just random when you would actually get the stuff. I had no idea what it was. But no, there's mail deliveries at specific times in the day. So if you order before those times, your stuff will be delivered at those times. It's like,
right, like even a minute before that time.
Yeah, which is like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. So I had to be sure to play again before 5 p.m. so that my afternoon mail delivery or evening mail delivery would have my clothing and I could go talk to her. Yeah. Gracie forced me to learn something about a game that I no longer play.
I have I have all my outfits set up. 3 mannequins that are dressed in the outfits that I need for 3 of the checks, and I think there's like 7 or 8 different ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a few in my locker in my storage. Complete outfits. I have the Samus outfit from the fortune cookies and the Link outfit. Those complete 2 of the 2 of the requirements. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
The complete Zelda, the complete Link costume is one of them. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is, but it's I think it starts with an O. I just can't. Anyway, and then the Samus one is, I think, the rock and roll. The Samus one fulfills the rock and roll, I think.
That's interesting. I'll have to remember that. So that means I have a couple complete sets. The cool thing about Gracie is you don't have to have all your items being from that set. You just have to have at least, I think, 3 items, and then the other items that you wear can't be clashing. There's certain items that clash with the theme.
Right.
So it's not super, super hard, but yeah, it does take a while to get some of that stuff made.
Yeah, I use the guide on Thonky or Tahonky or whatever it is, THONKY.com.
Right.
It's a very comprehensive guide, despite having lots of typos, and that's where I saw that chart with the which ones clash and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm waiting for her to show up a second time so that I can pass the first guide, and that's that. Also, Terraria, they released, I think I mentioned this in the last show, but they released the 1.2 patch. They've released at least one other patch since then, I think 2 patches since then, to tie up a couple of bugs that were created or missed before, and adding a few more items to the package. I created a new world with a new character, and I'm just at the point where I'm fighting the Eye of Cthulhu. It has shown up twice now and killed me both times. Bosses in that game are still so hard.
I can't remember which boss. Is that the first boss? Like you talk to the shopkeeper guy?
No, the Eye of Cthulhu shows up when when your life meter gets to a certain length, I think 200 hit points. You start seeing messages like, "Oh, you feel like you're being watched by a dark force or something," and then all of a sudden this giant eyeball comes flying out of the sky.
I remember the Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I lucked out. I fell down a huge pit, like really, really deep, and then landed in water, so I didn't die. And then I jumped up and I opened a chest, and it had like a, I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a spiny circle thing that you throw at enemies repeatedly. I can't remember.
The ball hurt?
No, it's I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a thorny thing. But you can basically, if you hold down the attack button, you just keep like throwing it, and as soon as it hits the enemy, it bounces back to you. So I'd get to the point where I'm like this far away from the Eye of Cthulhu and just keep spamming it. So just keep like going, and his life would just be going slowly down the whole time I was fighting him, and then he'd do a lot of damage, and I'd run away and hide so that he would then stop moving, and then I can go up to him and do that again. So I had no problem with that boss. I lucked out, I think, because of the lucky fall throughout the whole planet and land in a pool right by a chest with the perfect item for what I needed it for.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's neat how the game sometimes does that, because everything's randomly generated.
Yeah, it is. It's such a great game. I love that game.
Mm-hmm. And let's see what else. Wind Waker HD.
Nice.
For Wii U.
How do you like that?
It's nice.
Did you played the original, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Back in 2003 when it came out, I played through it, and I think I don't think I've played through it since then, but I've picked it up a few times on GameCube and played it. I mean, I still have my original copy of it.
Right.
And I played it on Wii a little, but it looks really good, and it's still a really good game, but you can tell that it was designed, like more than 10 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it has that gameplay feel, like it just feels like an old game.
But they put selfies in. That's a new thing.
Well, I don't have that yet, so I'm not saying there isn't anything new there. And I mean, I've already noticed a bunch of things that are pretty different, even with kind of foggy memories of what the game was before. But it's like I wouldn't say that it's a bad game that people shouldn't play it, but I think that if you played it on the GameCube and you played through it on the GameCube and you've been playing Zelda games since, I kind of think that Zelda games have evolved in a way, kind of away from this, which feels strange to say because this is still one of my favorite Zelda games. Right. And I thought that Twilight Princess was a really, really good game, and I didn't like Skyward Sword. But you know what I mean? So for me to say that the games have evolved and this feels like too much of a throwback just seems a little strange, because I like this game better than those.
Right.
Just something about the mechanics of it and the style of it is like, I don't think I can quite put my finger on it.
Hard to put into words.
Yeah, I think it may just be, this is just occurring to me now, it may just be that the game doesn't feel new or fresh to me because I already know the game. You know what I mean? Right. Like even when I was playing Twilight Princess, everything was like new in it. I didn't know quite what to expect out of it, so it surprised me all the time. And this game doesn't really have any surprises because it's the same game.
Right. Interesting. I still have yet to pick it up. It's one that I want to. I've been waiting till GTA 5 is kind of done because that's been taking up a lot of my free time.
Sure.
Cool. All right. So that's it for you?
I think so. I think that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else that I've been putting time into.
Awesome. Well, let's chat a little bit about what I've been doing. Grand Theft Auto 5. I've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5, mostly single player. Played some online stuff. What a great game. I mean, the writing is stupid yet so awesome at the exact same time. Trevor, who's the psychotic character that says the most foul things is one of my favorite characters in a video game ever, just because of the absolute bat crazy stuff he does. Like when you switch to him, he's just doing terrible things that just make you giggle. Having a real fun time with this game. I think I'm at 94%, so I'm getting close to 100%, which is my goal, so that I can see some of the alien stuff that shows up at 100%, because I want to check out some of that stuff out. But yeah, just having a lot of fun with GTA, having a lot of fun with the online stuff as well. I'm not a huge online gamer, so I don't know how long I'm going to be playing too much of that. I'll probably play most of it kind of like single player, multiplayer stuff. So I'll do a lot of the missions myself, only join in with other people when I have to, just because people suck. Especially, yeah, and I play on the PS3 where there's like limited voice chat. It's not like 360 that every console shipped with a microphone that people say absolute terrible things into the whole time they're online. And there's still a lot of garbage being said, and I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be that's not fun for me. So
yeah, I don't like internet gaming with strangers unless there's no way for us to communicate. Like Journey on PS3 was fun that way.
Yeah, I love that game online. I loved seeing people because I knew they couldn't kill me or say terrible things while I'm around. Right. But yeah, GTA 5, loving it. Playing that a lot. Disney Infinity, playing a little bit of that. I picked up the 2 new variants that are out, the Crystal Sully and Mr. Incredible. They're going to be staying in boxes because they're not really fun figures to play with. But that's fun. Toy Story comes out right away, so my kids are really looking forward to that. So that'll be cool. And then Pokemon. I'm playing a lot of Pokemon on my 3DS. I had said before that I'm not going to buy Pokemon, that I don't like the game, right? We talked about that. It's just I couldn't be less interested in this game. And I
wasn't sure if that was you or me.
I think it was both. I think it was both of us. We both kind of came to the agreement where it's like, yeah, no, Pokemon, meh, that kind of thing. And then I read more about it and heard more about it and saw more about it, and a lot of people were talking about it, and it sounded really interesting. So I started looking into it, and I mean the game now it's 3D. It's not like 2D. So you're in a 3D world. Like I'm here running around with skates, which is one of the first items that you're given, so you can get around faster. And it's a great little 3D world. And then you get into a battle, and it's a 3D battle, and your Pokemon are 3D objects. They're not just little like 100 by 100 pixel 2D drawings. They're actual full 3D things. So we'll see if that shows up if my camera stops trying to refocus on it. But yeah, like your character shows the Pokemon, your Pokemon's full 3D, you're fighting another Pokemon that's 3D. And I was just like, damn, this looks fun. This looks good. This looks like a new game, not a game that's been rehashed a dozen times. So I bit the bullet. I picked up Pokemon X on release day, and I haven't gotten a lot of time to play it, just because I've been so busy. I'm 9 hours in, which I guess is a lot. I mean, it's not a lot as far as Pokemon is because it's a huge game. But I've just been slowly making it. I have one badge, one of the training badges, one of the gym badges, and I'm kind of stuck. I don't know where to go now. I really don't know where to go. I unlocked a route, and there's now mountains, and I can't get past the mountains, and there's caves, and the caves just take me to other places that have mountains. And it's like, okay, so is Pokemon kind of done for me? I don't know where to go. But I don't know. It's been kind of refreshing. Last one I played was Pearl, and I mean, it was fun. I got to about halfway into the game. This is new, fighting a horde, so you fight 5 Pokemon at the same time, and it's just really annoying. I don't really like that, but yeah, I mean, I didn't get too much into Pearl. I got maybe halfway through the game, and the game devolved into me basically like playing the same thing over and over and over, the same battles over and over and over to get the one specific Pokemon with the best stats, and then breeding them with the other Pokemon, and then reading online for stats. And it's like, okay, if I give him this move, or if I don't evolve him here, or if I do this and that. And it was just like, it was a total min-max game, and I was treating it like an algorithm where I had to find the best algorithm possible to beat the game. And I got like halfway, and it just, I didn't like it anymore. It was getting boring. This one, I haven't looked online for anything. I'm playing it, picking whatever Pokemon I want. I'm not worrying about types or matches. I'm not worrying about training the optimum way. I'm just having fun, and it's been really refreshing. I think the new art style and the really awesome integration of online. So as soon as you play the game, anybody that has Pokemon that is in your friends list on your 3DS basically shows up as an acquaintance, or as a, what do they call it? It's not an acquaintance. And I probably can't see it right now. It's called friends. So they show up, and if they're online, their icon is color. If they're not online, their icon is kind of black and white. So I kind of see it there. All my characters are black and white because I haven't gone online yet again. And you can do things with them. So you can trade with them, you can battle them. And there's something called the O power, where you can actually give them little boosts, and you get a certain amount of power points. And then you can give all your friends boosts, and then they can give you boosts, which helps you out, which is really great. And then there's other things, like there's ways to do online trading, like randomly. So you just give out a random Pokemon and you get a random Pokemon back. So I just did that before here because I hadn't tried it before, and I put a Zubat, which is one of the most recent ones that I caught, just because I could catch another one because I was in that same area. And I sent it out, and I got back some other Pokemon, some other, like, ironically enough, it was another bat, but it was a different kind of bat. It was something that sounds really rude, even though it's not supposed to be, I don't think. So I won't say it because it is kind of rude. But they're doing so many like really interesting things like that, which is, like I said, keeping it really fresh to me. What's some other things you can do? There's a couple different things you can do for training. There's Pokemon-Ami, which is just like a little Tamagotchi thing. So you can take any of your Pokemon that you have in your party, and you go to Pokemon-Ami, and you basically click on them and you hit play, and then you can kind of pet them. I'll load up my Pokemon-Ami, and you can pet them, and they get all happy and get really smiley, and then they give you hearts, and that increases their happiness. And then if you get more happiness and more happiness and more happiness, then your stats go up and different things happen that way. I don't really care too much about that, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing that too much. But then there's also another training method, which is called super training, where you're doing like mini games to train your Pokemon, which is kind of neat as well. There's voice chat that you can do while you're playing the game. Like it's a real online title that Nintendo has put out there, which is awesome and not something that I fully expected. And to me, going back to kind of my first point, since it doesn't really look like Pokemon in the past, to me it feels like a whole new experience. Like I'm not worrying about anything that I've done before. I'm just playing it as a whole new game, and it is a hell of a lot of fun. So I know you're not a fan of Pokemon, Steven, so I won't sway you with my talking about it. But from someone that doesn't really, I could care less about Pokemon. Like I don't love the franchise. It is a really, really fun game. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So I don't know if it's something that you see one day and you need something to play. You maybe pick it up and check it out. It is actually a lot of fun. I think the trio of Pokemon that I'm playing with is, I started with Chespin, which is my first starter, the new starter, which has been a lot of fun. And then you're given, if you go online, you're given I'm trying to get to it. I can't remember what it actually was called initially. I know everybody in the chat room is going to say it's a blah. It's upgraded once, so now it's a Combuskin. Torchic. That's right. Thanks, Kyle. So it was a Torchic. Now it's a Combuskin. So it's a fire one. And then you get a chance to get a second starter. So you can pick Squirtle. You can pick whatever the other ones are. I don't really care. So I picked Squirtle. So now I have a leaf, a fire, and a water. So the three base elements. So I'm doing pretty good. And then I found a Pikachu. So I have the electric one there. And then, yeah, I mean, it's fun. I don't know. I as I said, I'm not a Pokemon fan, but I'm having a hell of a lot of fun with this game. So I think I might actually stick with it. We'll see. Either way, it's been a fun enjoyment as well. So anyway, that's Pokemon X. If you want to add me as a friend and trade Pokemon or something, I don't know. I have all base ones. I'm just catching random ones and not leveling them at all. So you probably don't want to trade with me. But there's a lot of people in the forums that have been playing it, like Skyward Keyblade in the chat room. He has all of the base Pokemon. He has multiples, and if you want to trade for breeding them and things like that, yeah, I'm not going to get that crazy into it, I don't think. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of Pokemon X so far, and we'll see how long that stays. And I bought the digital version, so I can always have it on my 3DS as well, which I think is going to help as well. I don't have to worry about taking the game out and then never putting it in again, which I think is what happened to Pearl. Now I have no excuse because it's sitting on my 3DS at all times.
Cool.
So, Steven, I know you've been smirking and making fun jokes in the chat room, but you should really check it out. It is, it's different. It definitely is.
I've already got way too much to play, to the point where I canceled some pre-orders, and I haven't pre-ordered Super Mario 3D World yet, even though it looks fantastic.
Wow. All right.
So I'm trying to really cut back until I can catch up on some of the games I have.
Fun. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the meat of the show. Okay. So notable releases: Pokemon XY, $39.99, available everywhere games are sold. Nintendo sold.
Yeah, they
a lot
had
of them.
like an 85% sell through of the first shipment.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Millions of copies they sold in the first week.
And what else? Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, which you talked about, Steven. That's available for $40. And
50.
50? I thought it was $39.99. I guess it's $49.99. That's right.
It's 50, $49.99. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's those some great games. Go play those. Mm-hmm. But why don't you tell us about some other sales that maybe people don't know about?
There was a GameFly sale this week where a bunch of stuff was marked down below $10, but it only lasted a day or so and it's gone. It was they don't give much notice on those things. They basically send out an email saying it's happening right now and it's over tomorrow. So a weekly podcast is probably not really the best way to do that. But I suggest that everybody go to gamefly.com and sign up for their email newsletter there somehow, because you can get some pretty amazing deals on stuff. I mean, they have some stuff is really, really cheap right now, but I mean, really great stuff, including first-party Nintendo stuff that will drop $20, $30 in like new condition. So deals that are still going on, I spotted today. Wonderful 101 on Amazon is currently marked down to just under $50. If you're willing to buy a used copy from an end user, there's at least one copy there under $40. You know, a lot of people are saying in their little descriptions, "Oh, I played it once, not really my kind of game." You know, whether you want to argue that they didn't give it a chance or not, this is your chance to get a copy of the same game a lot cheaper than the $60 it is currently retailing for. And the other big one this week was that Nintendo is discounting refurbished 3DS systems in their online store. And a blog that I never heard of posted about this. It's leedsy.wordpress.com, saying that they refurbished prices have dropped, and they have. And the quote is, "For a limited time, Nintendo has lowered the price on their refurbished 3DS stock to a mere $109.99. So long as you want blue or purple. If Midnight Blue is more your taste, you can get a DSi XL for even less." I believe there were sales on 3DS XLs as well, but you know, just a good $10 I think cheaper than they usually have them for, which is a little bit of a better price than you get at a place like GameStop. So that is it for the deals that I have
Cool.
for this week, I think.
Cool. One thing I forgot about Pokemon, if we can go back to that for a split second.
Of course.
It is the first 3DS game that I have that actually isn't in 3D at all.
The battles, as I understand, are in 3D, but the rest of the game is not.
Yeah, it's like you put the slider on and it does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It doesn't. The scene doesn't change, and even in battles, I mean, it's not that, like, I have my 3D cranked all the way up, and at the start there's the grass that you go through, and there's a bit of a 3D effect, and then like there's a little bit of depth on the battles, and it also takes the frame rate way down, way down.
Yeah, I'd heard that too. You turn the 3D on and the frame rate drops.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it now, and it's probably 10 frames a second as it's moving, like the camera's kind of panning down. So yeah, I guess this is like a total step in a different direction for Nintendo. I mean, they made the 2DS, and then now one of their main franchises, they did not push 3D at all.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. So one of the first big games, and it's not in 3D except for in the battle segment, which who really cares about that? Really, it doesn't add anything to it. You'd think in the world having some 3D effects would be useful for exploration, but yeah, it's nuts. Foreman in the chat room is saying some of the exploration areas are in 3D. I guess I am not that far ahead. I have not gotten to any of the exploration areas that are in 3D. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a huge step away from their tech for Nintendo. So I guess the whole 3D experiment is kind of over for Nintendo. So, all right, let's move on. Let's get into the news, which will obviously kick off with more Pokemon stuff, I guess. Nintendo's announced that in the first 48 hours, they managed to move over 4 million units worldwide. Since this was a worldwide release, all in the same day. So it was kind of funny. If you're on Twitter, there's a bunch of people around saying, "Oh, it's available in Australia," and it's like, "Oh, it's available in China. It's available in Russia. It's available in England. Oh, it's coming over here. Oh, it hit the West, or hit New York. There it is. The New York store is having this big thing, and midnight launches were going everywhere. And it's just like, wow, how crazy is that? But I guess it worked. They've moved 4 million in 2 days, and this was a post from I guess 2-3 days ago. So I'm sure they've probably moved like another 50% of that again, because it's available 100% of the time online. So even if you can't find it in your stores, you buy $50 worth of eShop credit, and you put it into your 3DS, and then you download it, and they can make an infinite amount of copies of this game, which is huge for them. So the Pokemon is probably going to be at top of the NPDs for quite some time, I would think. It's probably going to sell really, really, really well.
Yeah, that's some pretty impressive sales. And, you had some people who were going, "Oh, Pokemon is dead. Nobody cares about Pokemon anymore." And it's like, yeah, wait and see. And then it came out and it was everywhere. I mean, people broke the street date by weeks.
Yeah, and Nintendo went crazy on them.
Yeah.
Threatened sanctions.
Yeah.
Like there's some country, "We're going to sanction you. You're never going to get a pre-release game before the actual day that it's supposed to come out."
Yeah.
So bizarre. At the bottom of their press release, Nintendo noted that Animal Crossing New Leaf was the first Nintendo 3DS game to cross 2 million units sold.
And this did 4 million in 2 days.
Doubled that in 2 days. So,
oh my god,
there is a small market for Pokemon still, I guess is what you could say, Steven. Just a small little niche of the world still likes their Pokemon.
I think Pokemon should buy Nintendo.
Yeah, Game Freak will now own Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be like Disney gobbling up all the other franchises.
Sure.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, if you haven't bought it yet, buy it, because Nintendo needs more money, apparently. 4 million units sold in 2 days isn't enough. They didn't beat GTA's record of $1 billion in sales in the first 3 days. So I guess they have a little bit more of a way to go for that product.
Sure.
All right, moving on. Are you a Mega Man fan? I can't remember, Steven.
I am.
You like Mega Man. It's Foreman that detests Mega Man, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
He hates it.
Foreman doesn't like anything that's more than a generation old unless it's mappy.
That's true. I guess Yep, those games suck in the chat room. So, Steven, you have some news for us about some old Mega Man games coming to the Virtual Console.
Yeah, they've on there. You know how they have that Capcom Unity block, which I really like. That's a clever name. Mm-hmm. They've been talking about how they have Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4, and Mega Man 5 coming to the 3DS Virtual Console. And they said they're also going to be bringing Game Boy Color games. Those are the Game Boy, Mega Man 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the Game Boy versions because the NES versions are already on there.
Right.
And they're different from the NES ones. They're not as good. And the Game Boy Color games, Mega Man Extreme and Mega Man Extreme 2. If you're not familiar with the Mega Man Extreme and Extreme 2 games, those are actually Game Boy Color remakes of the Mega Man X games from Super NES, and they're pretty competent. They're really good quality.
I remember when those came out. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I actually have a boxed sealed copy of Mega Man Extreme on my shelf.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's actually neat. That's really neat. And they've talked about Mega Man X2. Let's see what it is. His exact wording, he said, it was a likely candidate. This is Brett Elston from the Capcom Unity forums.
That's funny.
Said Mega Man X2 is a likely candidate to show up on the Wii U because it came out on Wii Virtual Console.
Yep.
So
hearing stories like this gets me really excited, and then I remember how stupid Nintendo's program is for Virtual Console titles, and then it's even more asinine when I think back to something that Sony announced this week, where they're bringing some of their classic PSN titles to PlayStation 4. So Flow, Flower, Sound Shapes, a couple other ones. And they're going to be bringing them to PlayStation 4. If you already own the PlayStation 3 version, you can just download it for free because you've already bought the game. You own the game. And it's coming to Vita as well. And yeah, you get that for free as well. You've already bought it. You get all these ones for free. It's free for you, and it's free for you, and it's free for you. And Nintendo's like, oh no, that's $8. And it's $8 on every single piece of hardware you own. If you have 3 Wiis in your house, it's $8 for every single one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, I really hope Nintendo gets on the ball and figures this out and makes an iTunes for like classic video games. So you can go to their shop online, and I want to put Mega Man 2 in this little cart, and I want to put Mega Man Extreme in this little cart, and I want Super Mario World in this cart. I want the Japanese version of Super Mario World in the cart. And then it's on my account, and I can play it on any system that is compatible with that. Like, that is the future that I want. And also don't want to pay $8 per game. I want to pay like a sane price. If they could do that, they'd be inventing new ways to print money. They'd have to invent other money printing machines to print the money as fast as it would be coming out. But they seem stuck on, we're going to sell them like onesie twosie, $5 to $8 to $10 at a time. And if you get a new piece of hardware, we'll give them to you for a discount for $1.50 because we're nice. Like they got to get on the page where everybody else is going. I mean, iOS has kind of changed things, and I know Nintendo likes to admit that the App Store doesn't exist and is not a viable place for games until they decide to release the Pokédex and sell like tens of thousands of copies of that on iOS. It's just, it's so bizarre. I really want to get more excited for these things, but then I realize the reality is not as shiny and colorful as what Nintendo would like you to think it is. That's my little rant. I'm sorry for derailing what you were saying.
No, I agree. I think that it's even setting the pricing aside, it's ridiculous that we have to buy it for every platform. Buy it again and again, and it's a tiny step in the right direction that they are giving us upgrade pricing to go from Wii to Wii U. But I don't know. I don't understand why they think that this is reasonable. It's we know that Nintendo does a lot of things as though they are functioning in a void.
Yeah.
But this is not one of those things that they should be doing this way. I can accept that a Super NES game, that Super Mario World is going to be $8. I can accept paying $8 for Super Mario World from Nintendo. But I did that on Wii in 2006, 2007, something like that.
Yep.
I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to do that again. I shouldn't have to buy another digital copy of Super Mario World.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you.
Yeah. I buy a 99-cent game on the Google Play Store, and every Google platform I sign on to has that piece of software.
Yeah, totally.
Forever.
Yep. No, I fully agree. Like I have games that I purchased like 4 years ago on my iPhone, and I'm playing them on my iPhone that I bought 4 years ago, and which was an iPhone 3GS, I guess, is what it was. And then I played it on my 4 and my wife's 4S and my 5 and my iPad 1, my iPad 2, my iPad 3. Like it just all these devices. And I mean, we have multiple iPads playing the same game at the same time, and you can't do that on Nintendo platform. I mean, that would be huge. Like getting a downloadable copy of Mario and having both my kids playing it.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo can make the argument that the quality of their software is higher all they want, and I'll agree with it. I'm a Nintendo fan. I really like their software. I think that, the average piece of software coming from Nintendo is better than anything I've played on a phone. But they need to match certain aspects of the technology the way digital delivery works now. And we know they're capable of doing it. There's nothing reasonable. There's no reasonable excuse they can make for this.
Yep, exactly. Cool. All right, let's move on. So, a lot of Mega Man coming. If you like the Mega Mans, you're going to be happy in the near future.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, between all of these and Mighty Number 9, you have all the Mega Man you need.
You could have all the Mega Man all the time. It'll be great. Mm-hmm. Then you can go buy Mega Man 9 and 10 and just hate yourself as a person while playing those. That would be great as well.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. This weekend it was announced that Hulu Plus has finally come to the 3DS. It was supposed to come like 2 years ago, but it never made it. And it's here now. I'm Canadian, so who cares? I don't really care about Hulu Plus, but I know a lot of Americans that use it all the time. And this is probably really exciting for them. So if you have a Wii or Wii U, you're probably watching Hulu Plus. Now you can do it on your 3DS, and Hulu even put in their press release. It's like, now you can watch your favorite program on your Wii and then continue where you left off on your 3DS as you leave the house. And it's just like, well, I wish it would really work that well, because not everybody has a Wi-Fi hotspot with them as they leave the house to continue streaming that video. But sure, in this magical happy land that you live in, Hulu execs, sure, that's possible.
On the front lawn.
And if you had exactly, and if you had a Wi-Fi hotspot going with you anywhere, you'd probably be watching that video on your Android phone or your iPhone anyway. But it's cool. I mean, Netflix is there. Might as well be on the 3DS as well.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a nice feature,
Totally. But as I said, I'm Canadian, so I don't care. I don't care. Stupid Hulu.
You should lie. You just say, no, I'm in the U.S.
Yeah, I could set up
cheeseburgers and football. That's shaped like a American football.
It's like you squished an egg, and it made out of pigskin, and you throw it around. America.
I sure like beer and guns.
Yeah,
he's American.
Yeah, I could come off as American pretty easily, I think.
Sure.
Cool. All right, moving on. Let's get into some Zelda news. Steven, why don't you tell us about some Zelda comments that have been made this week?
All over the course of the past week and a half or so, there have been little pieces of interviews with Eiji Aonuma, he's the producer, director of the producer or director, I don't recall which, of the Zelda games now. He has done interviews with Polygon and a bunch of other places, Shack News and stuff. He was at Comic-Con, I guess, too. So anyway, he in this particular piece of news that came out on the 16th, he was saying that that Zelda games take too much work for one of them to come out every year, because he was asked by Shack News about annualization You know how games like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed come out every year, Madden and stuff like that. These are huge games. They take a long time. They take a lot of work to make them, and they sell like crazy. And Aonuma says that the Zelda games are too high quality for them to produce one of those every year. The expectations that people have for the quality of the games means that they need more time. And the article that I saw that linked to this pointed out that Zelda console games have been getting further and further apart. You had, I think, 3 years between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Then you had 4 between that and Skyward Sword, and you know, they're just getting further and further apart. And they said that's intentional because, you know, it takes a longer time to produce a quality game.
Makes sense. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. It's interesting to see a difference there with It's the screenshot is awful though, isn't it? I mean, doesn't Link look all weird, like out of proportion in that? And we've only ever seen that in motion.
He has bump mapping in places I didn't know he had bump mapping.
Yeah. We did places he didn't know he had bumps. But
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's accurate. Like I have no problem with Nintendo taking 4 years to make a Zelda. I mean, GTA 5 took 5 years or 6 years almost. And look at what GTA 5 is compared to GTA 4. I mean, you don't have to have the Call of Duty effect. Activision is the killer of franchises. I mean, they want the annualization, and not every gamer wants to play the same game every year, and a lot of them do. And it makes sense for a shooter. If you're playing competitively, you don't want that. You don't want your levels getting tired after a year. So it makes sense for another game to come out with new levels and new features. But there's also a lot of sense made in waiting 5 years or 4 years or 3 years to actually work on a game and produce a work of art, not just the same game you did last year with one extra feature.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't mind that it takes Zelda so long, but I know there's a lot of people out there that think Nintendo's crazy for taking so long between Zelda releases.
Yeah, because they come out and they don't. The games come out, they don't generally review as well as the GTA's and the Call of Duties and the Maddens like that, and they certainly don't sell as well.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, it goes back to Nintendo's philosophy on game development. Like they're not like a Activision that staffs up 200 people extra to work on a game for the last 6 months and then fires them all. When you get a job at Nintendo, you have a job at Nintendo. You are working for Nintendo, and you work there forever. I mean, obviously people leave Nintendo and people get fired, I'm sure, but it's not like other game development studios where they ramp up and then they lay everybody off after the release of a game and get into small, like 10 people planning sessions and work on like the idea for the next game and then staff up again and then close down or lay off people or whatever.
Yeah.
They have a different mentality for building games. So it doesn't make sense for Nintendo to hire 200 people to work on art for a Zelda game. They have a small team working on it, and they do a good job doing it. So
I think so too.
Anyway, my 2 cents that are probably worthless in most parts of the world. Canadian exchange and all that. All right, moving on. This was a bit of a huge news. Ubisoft announced this week that Watch Dogs has been pushed back to spring 2014, and this is like a month away from release. So that's a pretty short time between the announcement that we're pushing it back to the game like supposed to have been out. I can only think of one other game that was shorter, and that was Rayman Legends. That was supposed to come out like the next week on Wii U, and they said, nope, we're delaying it, and it's coming out on everything in 6 months. Sorry, guys. Even though they're all printed and ready to ship out to people, we're not going to do that. But yeah, so Watch Dogs, if you're looking forward to that, playing that on your Wii U, you're going to have to wait, which is a little bit unfortunate because people were looking forward to playing on the Wii U because it's the first of the next gen consoles to come out, and it'll be out when this game was supposed to launch, there wouldn't be that many PS3s or 360s in the market, and of course, this is coming out on PS4s or
PS4s
Xbox
and
Ones.
Xbox
I
One.
always say that, it's terrible. People would maybe want to buy it on the Wii U instead of the PS3 or the Xbox because they might have that console longer if they had multiple consoles. Well, now you don't even have to think about that. Ubisoft has said, nope, sorry, we're going to wait till spring. So probably in March or April of next year, you'll be able to get Watch Dogs, and it'll probably sell 5% of the total volume on the Wii U, and the rest will be sold on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So thanks again, Ubisoft, but I guess it makes sense. You want to make money, and I fully understand that.
Yep.
So were you going to buy this one, Steven?
No, I was interested in the game the first time I saw it, and I was thinking about putting in a pre-order for it, but after they started showing some actual gameplay footage, that wasn't like that pre-rendered trailer thing with the car crash, I started to realize that this was really just the same game that I keep seeing being released over and over again. It's infamous,
Okay. I get that, I guess.
It's every other game that's been out
I was really eager.
all generation.
I was really eager for the addition of like a smartphone / tablet game on top of the game. I was looking forward to
that
messing
was
with
what
people.
appealed to me too at first.
That looked pretty interesting, but I don't know. I was really excited for this one, but I'll be just as excited in March, or if they push it back to October of next year, I'll still be just as excited to get it. It looks like a really cool world. I like the whole hacking kind of angle that they're doing. I kind of dig that kind of stuff, so it kind of excites me. So yeah, Watch Dogs, gonna have to wait a little longer, but you'll have so many other great games to play you probably won't even notice.
Sure.
Cool. All right, moving on. Some more news on some more awesome looking 3DS XL
Oh my
special
god,
editions.
yeah, the Zelda one especially.
I want this. I have a 3DS.
Yeah, me too.
I have a 3DS XL, but they unveiled a gold and black for Zelda. A Link Between Worlds,
yeah.
and it's gold on top with the Triforce and black on the bottom with the reverse Triforce of the what is it? Low Rule.
Low rule. High rule, low rule.
It looks so good. It's only been confirmed for the UK. Oh, even the inside is gold.
Yeah.
It's gold. I kind of really want this.
Yeah, this is a bundle with a digital copy, with a code for a digital copy of Link Between Worlds.
Looks really, really great. And they also announced it's going to be the game, or the 3DS rather, will be coming out in 1st of November in the UK. So if it comes to North America, it'll probably be around the same time. And it's also been confirmed that the UK is also going to get the Luigi special edition for the year of Luigi.
Yeah, that was the one that came out in Japan a little while ago.
Exactly. So that will be coming. And I wonder if it has the one Mario on. Yeah, it still has the one Mario on the back of here, right at the top right hand corner.
Oh, in the upper right there, yeah.
So they still got away. Mario still spoiled the party. But yeah, that'll be coming to the UK. Hopefully that means that they will be coming to North America as well, especially the Zelda one. Damn.
Oh god, yeah. The day they make that available, I will pre-order one of those.
If I come into the house with another 3DS XL, my wife will go ballistic. But I kind of really want this one, so maybe I'll have to sell mine or buy this one and then sell mine because it looks really good. Really good.
Yep. Got to migrate into it first before you sell.
Exactly. Cool. So hopefully that comes out here. If it does, you'll hear it here on Nintendo Pulse because both Steven and I are a little excited for it. And that's all we'll say. All right. Moving on. Another kind of hate on Nintendo story came up this week, which is kind of a hate on from Nintendo themselves, saying that they're worried that Nintendo is holding gamers' hands too much. We've kind of made fun of the whole you died too many times in a row, here, let me do it for you system in the past, Steven. What do you think that means coming from someone high up at Nintendo? Do you think maybe this is going to be the end of that system? Maybe Nintendo isn't going to be such coddling to people's lack of skill? In
in the interview that they posted, this is an interview at Polygon with Eiji Aonuma, again, the guy in charge of Zelda. He was talking specifically about Link Between Worlds and how he was saying that he thinks that they have a bad habit of hand holding. He's talking specifically about trying to keep gamers from getting stuck while playing the game, and he says that he thinks that detracts from the fun of the game. He seems to be making the argument that if the game is well designed, then the players won't mind getting stuck in it because it'll still be fun even if you're stuck. And I kind of agree with that in one way, but not sure in another. The sense that I agree with it is I remember being a child and getting stuck in games and not being frustrated by it.
Yeah.
And just working at it until I found a way and exploring all the things there were to see. And when I got stuck in A Link to the Past back in 1992, I ran around that world. I beat up on chickens. I
picked up every rock and cut down every blade of grass that was cuttable.
Yeah, because it was fun to do that because there was so much interesting stuff to find. And then even just listening to the music, when you got the Pegasus boots, you'd run with the sword sticking out in front of you and you could cut through a whole row of bushes. Yeah. And simple stuff like that was really fun. Now, I don't know how much of that still holds true because, I mean, since you're talking about 1992, that's 20 years ago.
Yeah, true.
We've had 20 years of gaming experiences to chase that. And there's so much more available now than there was back then. Back then, for the most part, it was either your Sega Mega Drive / Genesis or your Super NES, Super Famicom, whatever. And that was pretty much it.
Right. And,
you just had the small set of games that were coming out for those two platforms.
Sure.
Now there's so much more. I mean, you have 3 consoles, all of which are successful. You have the handheld devices, you have mobile devices. If you get stuck in a game in 2013, you don't even have to keep playing a game. You can stop playing, you jump on your phone and go on a web browser and read BuzzFeed if you're an idiot.
or you could just go to YouTube and watch the ending of the game and say, okay, well, I beat it.
Right. Yeah. So I saw the end of it now. And it's like, I mean, I think that we have much shorter attention spans for this kind of a thing, and while I would love to see what he does with this, and he says that it's gone into the development of this, and he mentions a specific argument that he had with some of the developers on the game that got extremely intense and contentious, and he ended up winning, and they took out some guidance that was in the game that was going to guide the gamers through, and he says he thinks it's going to be more fun. Without the hand holding.
Right.
This was an interview at New York Comic Con, which just happened, I think, last weekend.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. I mean, at the same time, I also hate kind of the entitlement generation that is growing up, where everybody needs everything handed to them now. They want it now. And I remember being a kid, and I would get 1-2 games a year, and every kid I know at my son's school gets multiple games. So it's not just me who plays and reviews games. So I buy games just because it's my hobby. There's a lot of people that play a lot of games or buy a lot of games for their kids. So it's not just me who's involved in this crazy hobby of mine. There's a lot of people that get a lot more video games than we ever had. So like, regardless of the different platforms, everybody has access to a lot more than what I had access to when I was growing up. So that is one downfall of a hard game, because if the game's really hard, you can go on to something else. But then, as you said, iPhone, like, there's hundreds of free games released every day on iOS that you can download, or on Android that you can download and play for nothing. So your game isn't just a $60 thing that you get for your birthday or Christmas or whatever other holiday you celebrate. It's now something that is part of everyday life. So I can kind of get that. But then I keep going back to the whole, like, kids these days needing everything handed to them on a silver platter type thing. And that just shows that I'm getting old, I guess. But it's just, there's a lot of that as well. So things like that probably are really fighting, like Nintendo's fighting against, to make a game that is difficult. Foreman's calling me an old grump. Yes, I guess I am. But I mean, I guess as Nintendo developing, they don't want to potentially alienate like a whole family by making a game that's hard and then getting the parent pissed off and never buying another Nintendo console. They want to keep the kids happy so that parents say, look, I can spend $60 and I have a 80-hour babysitter for my kids, because that's how a lot of people treat video games. So there's probably a lot of thought that's been put into this, and it's not just Nintendo wants to be easy. There's probably a lot of reasons why they do it. But then at the end of the day, I still get really pissed off when I hear kids screaming for stuff in a store and then they get it. And it just makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Throwing a tantrum and crying. If I ever threw a tantrum in a store, oh my God, that would have been... There'd been a lot of like stuff that would land you in jail these days. Would have been what was happening to me, and everybody would have been applauding my parents back then. So the world is definitely a different place.
It is, yeah. And I'm not, obviously not endorsing,
no,
striking children.
Definitely not. But
the simple fact is we were raised differently than we raise our children now.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. The world is a different place. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Moving on. Let's get into the last story. Sorry, just closing all my browser windows.
Our parents who played Pong think our precious NES games were just senseless, unskilled, short attention span wastes.
They had the great.
I played Pong though.
they had the great things from Sears that you could plug in, and you could play Pong in 20 different versions. You could play hockey. Or
the Odyssey
tennis.
Odyssey 200.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's Pong with hockey. It's Pong with tennis. It's Pong football. It's double Pong. It was great. Those things were awesome.
Yeah, I got one in the other room.
Moving on. This is our second last story. Do you remember Boogerman, Steven?
I do. A Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure. I do.
Yeah. I remember how horrible it was, and it was kind of like let's make the most disgusting game that we could possibly make back then, like back when like Conqueror's Bad Fur Day. And I mean, obviously this came out before that, but it was kind of like the same thing. It was the shock. Let's do some shock and awe stuff and be gross for the sake of being gross. Yep. Well, Boogerman didn't die. He didn't dry up and under a desk somewhere. There's been a Kickstarter that has just come out.
Goodness.
Did you like that? That was some good word stories. I made word stories with my words. Right there's a Kickstarter for Boogerman, the 20th anniversary, the video game. They are trying to raise $375,000. And if they do, they will release a brand new HD Boogerman adventure made by the original creators on your PC, your Mac, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, and Wii U. So, Steven, already 392 backers have come in and said, yeah, I want Boogerman. I will give you money for Boogerman. And they've raised $9,300 to do so. They're still a little shy of their $375,000 goal. But I just wanted to bring this up because I remember seeing Boogerman on the Super Nintendo. I remember seeing the ads for it. Yeah, I believe it was Super Nintendo, right? That's
I don't know. I think it was on both, but I played it on Sega Genesis. I
think it was Super Nintendo, definitely. That's where I have vivid memories of the box and seeing it in like Game Pro or something, or EGM at that time, and just kind of shaking my head. But it's possible that Boogerman will come back for one last adventure before sailing off into the great tissue in the sky.
It'd be nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, there you go. That was the pun I was looking for that I couldn't find. It was a hard one to dig out, I guess. Is what you could say. So yeah, Boogerman is coming back. All right, that's enough of that.
Oh,
how about we end up with something cool that is way better than Boogerman, Steven?
Yeah, we are not staying on this topic.
Oh yeah, we're gonna move on. Definitely, yes, definitely gonna move on. There's some news about a really awesome pre-order bonus for in the UK right now. If you pre-order the new Legend of Zelda 3DS game, you can get yourself your own little mini Zelda chest that makes the great sound when you open it up. So it makes the opening. Maybe. Well, it has a little speaker. It has a speaker in the thing. I'm assuming that's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
And it also has 5 little slots that you can put 3DS cartridges in. It seems like a total horrible way to store games, but I want one because I want to have it on my shelf so that I can open it up in here. And go yeah, Zelda. There you go. And then put it down.
An article earlier today that contradicted this.
What?
That said that this was supposed to be an exclusive for the UK game shop, which is called Game.
Game? Where did they get that name from?
I don't know. It's all in caps, so maybe it stands for something like Game.
Games
me.
Are,
I don't know.
Games are my enemy. They really hate games. That's what it is. That's obviously what it stands for.
Sure. So I guess my what I saw on Nintendo Life, it was an article on Nintendo Life, was that Game is now coming out and saying, no, we have nothing to confirm about this at this time. After Nintendo themselves said that it would be coming to Game, they said, we have nothing to announce about this, but stay tuned because we know that people want stuff.
Nice.
Here it is.
There's a huge post on it on Link's Hideaway that talks about it and shows some high res pictures on it. There's even an on-off switch. I mean, it's not like a mock-up. This looks like something that is definitely.
And there's
real.
there's a vine floating around of Aonuma and Iwata, where Aonuma opens one up, it plays the song, and Iwata sticks his head and looks in the top. It's really funny. People have been tweeting it.
Oh, cool! I didn't see
so these are the tweets that are coming from game.co.uk, which is at Game Digital on Twitter.
Right.
You may have seen last night Nintendo UK tweeted about a pre-order chest item for The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. We have no pre-order bonus to announce, but you can be sure we're working with Din, Nehru, and Furore to bring you something special. Until then, feast your eyes on this special Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds 3DS XL available to pre-order tomorrow. Right. And there's a link to the...
And then they show it off there.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So, I don't see the vine here that I can click on.
Yeah, that's still right there. That picture is from the vine. From the vine that I saw.
Interesting.
Tiny Cartridge tweeted the vine the other day. So let me try going on Twitter.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is coming out. I hope it comes to North America because I want one of these. I will buy this game physically just so I can get this pre-order bonus. Where I was planning on buying digitally because I don't really want to buy any more 3DS games on disc, which is really odd. I had this thought today at work, and it's like, I wish I could buy empty 3DS boxes and find some high resolution art to print, because I still kind of want to have the boxes on a shelf, but I don't want to have the cartridges. I want to have the digital version of it. So there probably is ways that I can get these boxes, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's a million of them available on eBay. But I kind of want to do that. And I kind of realize how sad that is. And I know Foreman in the chat room is probably smacking his forehead and just going, oh, you idiots. Why would you ever want to do that? But I kind of want to do it. So I don't know. Anyway, I like the digital stuff. I'm trying to stall for time here, Steven. Yeah,
I think I found it.
Foreman is just saying, just buy the carts, you goof. Yeah, but I want to have them always with me. I don't want to ever have a cartridge go missing again, or not where I want it to be when I want to play it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to definitely buy this one on cartridge if I can get that really awesome thing. So here, let's go to the Vine, and I'll switch over so you can see it. Oh, there you go. And Ewad is funny. There you go. I could just watch this for hours.
Yeah. It's pretty hilarious, isn't it?
It is pretty hilarious. I'm going to turn the sound off because that'll just continue in the background forever. So yeah, it's coming. No word on US. I've heard some people talking about Australia and the UK. but so far have not heard of a US or Canadian release. I'm sure it'll happen. It'll be at like Future Shop or Best Buy or Target, maybe GameStop, but they usually get different sorts of pre-orders from Nintendo. They usually get like buttons, which is usually the only crappy little thing they get. But wherever this pre-order bonus is available, I will pre-order from there and I will get it because I want one of these just to have for the 3 times I open it and go, ha, ha, ha. And then it's just like, yeah, it's going to go on a shelf and never be put away or never be picked up again. It'll just be put away and not looked at.
Yeah, I definitely want the 3DS XL. I'm not so keen on the treasure chest. I mean, it's neat if it's available here. I'll probably get it, but you know, if I'd have to import it, then
it'd be cool if it came in the box with the special edition 3DS XL. That would be really cool.
That would be very cool.
But I'm also not wanting to buy another 3DS XL, so that wouldn't be so good. So I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. All right, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to about do it for this episode of Nintendo Pulse, episode 64.
Okay.
Steven, thanks for joining me yet again.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, happy to have you each and every week, Steven.
Oh, that's nice.
Just a reminder about my Extra Life thing that I talked about earlier. I am partnering with the Inside Infinity podcast for Team Inside Infinity. I'll post a link to the page where you can sponsor my 24-hour playthrough with 3 other Disney Infinity maniacs for charity. It's going to be a blast. If you have the game and you want to join in, there's going to be one of us that has it on the 360, one on the PlayStation 3, one on the Wii U, and you'll be able to jump in and play with us, play some multiplayer modes or multiplayer toy boxes. We're going to be talking to developers and other members. It's going to be a blast, and I urge you to sponsor Extra Life, whether it's through one of our links or through someone else that you might follow. This is a great service to raise money for needy kids everywhere. I'm going to be playing for the Children's Hospital here in Winnipeg, but there's a lot of places all over the world that have a Children's Hospital that you can play for. So do that, play for it, bid for it, join us while we do it, whatever. But just sponsor this or support this really great thing. They raised over $2 million last year. Let's hope that they can raise $3, $4, or $10 million this year because it's really good to get this money out to needy kids everywhere. All right, guys, we love hearing from you. Head on over to vgpodcast.com and let us know what you think of the show. Email us at vgpodcasts@gmail.com. Call our voicemail line, which is area code 505-VG-PODCASTS, or follow us on Twitter. I'm at DazMe. Steven, you're at Stephen J. Munn. And I think that's going to about do it. I didn't play the music, man. You should have reminded me to play Donkey Kong in the background.
All right, let's do some Donkey Kong in the background.
Oh, I just started it. What good timing, Steven. All right, guys. We're getting a little slap happy here with the end of the show. If you're in the live chat room right now, we have Touch of Gaming coming up next, so please stay tuned for that. But for everybody else, check us out at vgpodcast.com, and we'll talk to you in about a week's time. Take it easy, everybody.
Good night.